We took it for a drive the other day, about 60 miles or 60 kilometers, and it was just tugging a bit to the front wheel, like just tugging. So what that is most common thing is air pressure, and on the left front was 55, and on the right front was 59. So that 4 pounds of air will make it want to go. So we got that all evened up. But even at that, that's too low. Like they say 65 and then 80 for the big Ambo. So we're going to keep them about 70 as a magic number, or 65. We'll put 65 in the front, because see on the front here, if you look at the tread, you'll see it starting to take it's wearing on the edges, right? So that's a sign of low air pressure, right? So we'll bring them up to 70 and put 70 all the way around, and it'll be just good. Now, the other thing we had was that she had a problem getting air into the right rear or left rear. Now, on the 1 ton, you have to phase the wheels. Now, phasing the wheels is, if you look at this hole here, you can see the hole on the other side, right? And the valve stem. On the other side, they had the rim turned so that you couldn't see the other valve stem, so you can't get nothing on it. So they got to be phased, right? So that's what we're doing on the other side. Now, I'm going to tell you the way to do it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you the way to do it, and this is the only way you do it. Come on over here. Fire off. Okay, now, the only way you do it is you jack it up with an 8-ton jack or a 10. Anything better than an 8 will work, because it's fairly heavy. And you put a jack stand under it, which you see down there is a jack stand. You never put a body part under it unless you got a jack stand. I don't want to hear the stories. I don't care. Put a jack stand under it. Now, when you take it off, you always use an impact gun. Never use a 4-way. For one thing, I will not even lift the 4-way. I don't even waste my time. It's too much work. It's not worth it. Go buy yourself a cheap impact at Harbor Freight or Canadian Tire and be done with it. Because they're only on at 120 pounds or something. So it's not a big deal, right? So what we're going to do is take the wheels off, and then we're going to pump them up to 70, and then we're going to phase them. And I'll bring you, now this one was off, so you couldn't see the back valve stem. So I'll bring you back when I get all back together, and we'll show you what it is. Now, another thing too, while you're at it, a lot of people get on about tires and all that. Now, all these tires on this Ambo can go anywhere. Yeah, you take one out in the front, you can take one off the back, put it on the front, but try not to, I'm saying try, you might not be able to do it. Try not to put a patch tire on the front, because the front turns and it makes the tire work more. So don't try to put a patch tire on. But yeah, if you blow a tire off the front, just take one of the rears and put it back there, and you can run with one tire on the back. You're not that heavy. There's a lot of times on these here, what a person should do is bump the tire size up all the way around and go down to single rims. But Canada's not a single rim. Down in the States, they run lots of single rims. Up here, people don't like it. I don't know what the problem is. They don't want to do it. But, you know, if I had a 1-ton, I'd run single rims. I'll get this all fixed up. I'm going to pump the tires up to 70, and then I'll phase it, and I'll put it back in, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I'll turn it off for a minute. That's a compressor. It's a stupid compressor. I don't know, it's right in there with the rest of the compressors. But the thing about it is that you can put it on and walk away. You set the pressure at whatever you want, and that way, when you do that, all the tires are the same. You don't have to think about it. That's the old guy. Once you know what you're dealing with, you have to take all the pressures up to one where you know where they are. Like, we don't know what this was. We have no idea. So right now, the inside tire was flat. The outside one was 5 pounds low. That was 5 pounds low, and the other one was 5 pounds low. Now, just remember that a tire, if it's 10, like say for instance, you pump it up to 65 pounds like we did today, and we go measure them next week, and the one's 55, that's a flat tire. End of story, a flat tire. Get it fixed. It's either got a leaking stem or a screw in it or something like that. And if it's got 65 pounds and you measure it and it's got 55 pounds, it won't fix itself. I'm sorry, it just don't do that. So now what we did, now took this because it was out of phase, because remember the holes right here were right here, so you couldn't see the stem. Now what I do, it's not policy or nothing, but what I do is I stagger the stems. So I got one stem here, the outside stem, I'll put it there. Now the trick to these tires is they will tell you what they're going to do. Don't try to manhandle the tire because it won't work. They will tell you what you're going to do. So what you do is line it up where you want it, right? We got a stem here and we have a stem down there. Now, so when I took this wheel off, it was like that. It was like this, okay? You couldn't see the holes. So what you have to do is pull it back and line up the holes and the valve stem, because I want the valve stem up here. Now, I'm going to get all kinds of stories. Lucky it's Paula's channel, not mine. I put copper coat on the studs, okay? Or oil, anything. Because when you put something dry against something dry, it'll catch, right? And that's my theory on it, and I've never lost a tire yet, so I'm not worried about it. So, but not on the face of this nut, because what the nut does is it spins on there, right? This spins, and it uses friction to hold the wheel. That's the trick behind it. So don't put no oil or grease on these, but just on the stem, right? And then you just start them on. Right? Now you always go top to bottom 180 degrees all the time until they're tight, right? Now, I know this gun will put out close to 100 foot-pounds going back on, right? So I know roughly what it'll do. But you never take that for granted. You always torque it with a torque wrench. Always, always, always. You never put them on and then say, oh yeah, that's good enough. Because if you get a piece of dirt or something under there, it could change the torque, right? So then you don't want that. So what you do is start at the top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, and bottom. Okay? Now, we're going to check that. I know it's darn close. I think it's probably around 85 foot-pounds right now, but that's because I done it a couple. But now look at it. See, now you can see the both stems, right? So now she can check the tire pressure if you have to. That's the trick behind it. Just remember, don't try to manhandle the tire and don't pick it up. Leave it on the ground and roll it and get it where you want it. Don't pick it up. They're very, very heavy. I know lots of people that sit on the road waiting for AMA, and they sit there for 5 to 6 hours to get this done. Well, it only take like half an hour, and you got it done. But that's up to you. But anyway, so I'll put that. That's how we're doing there, and that's basically the tires. We're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to put them all at 65, and it'll probably make a big difference how it handles, because this side's low, so it wants to go this way, right? So I'll leave that with you. I hope you got something out of it. If you got any questions, put them down below, and we'll get back to you.